So I'm really glad you guys choose the Delta Force because I wanted to review this movie for a long time. I really want to talk about this. So I'm glad you guys picked this over those other ones I had out there. So this might be my first Chuck Norris movie review, I'm guessing. Because I don't think I ever did a Chuck Norris review on this channel, ever. And I watched a lot of his movies, I just never did it. I just never did review on any of his movies. But today I am. I am going to review The Delta Force from 1986, starring Chuck Norris, Steve James, Lee Marvin. Well, I should have said Chuck Norris, Lee Marvin, then Steve James. Well, whatever. I don't know what to say about this fucking movie. I didn't like it. I'm sorry to say I did not like this movie. I like a lot of better... There's a lot of better Chuck Norris movies that are better than The Delta Force. I'll tell you that right now. This movie is just... It has a lot more cons than pros. I'll tell you that right now. A lot more cons than pros. I watched this movie before. I started watching the movie again. Because before, I watched it up to like 50 minutes in. And I just turned it off because I got bored with the movie. Then you guys asked me to do a review on this. So I decided to rewatch it again. And... It felt like a chore to just watch this movie. It felt like a chore. I feel like I'm like cleaning up a mess off the fucking ground. Someone left like peanut butter and a jelly all over the floor. I had to clean it up. It's just this movie. I mean, look, I don't mind the action scenes of this movie, but it took fucking forever to actually get to that part of the film. And it took forever when we got to that part because there's a lot of other bullshit that happens way before that. Oh man, like. I have a whole list right here. It has more cons than pros on here. To be honest with you, there's more cons than pros. And I left one out. I forgot to put up there because I'll just finish watching this movie again. Well, this time the whole thing. Oh god! When I say the whole thing, I think I ate the whole giant piece of cake, or ate the whole cake. Really, that's how I feel right now. Man, I'm gonna throw it back up out of my fucking mouth. So, a lot of people are big fans of these movies, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get what's so great about these fucking films. I watched this one, and I watched the second one before. I watched the second one before the first one, and the second one is just... I don't know what to say about that one either. That one didn't make no sense to me either. I mean, there's some things I like about that movie, but I didn't fuck with that either. I didn't like the villain. The story made it make no fucking sense to me. I can't get into these Delta Force movies. They're just not for me. There's better Chuck Norris movies that are better than this. Missing in Action 2, the beginning. Code of Silence. I think another one was called Terror or something like that. Eye for an Eye. That samurai movie he was in. I actually own the samurai movie he was in, though. I can't think of the name of it off my head right now. I could look it up later, but that's my favorite Chuck Norris movie. I actually had the Blu-ray of that film. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of other ones that are actually better than this, and that are Delta Force movie. So I guess we're gonna go right ahead, and I'm gonna just talk about it before I get into the pros and the cons. So let's talk about this movie. So it started off in the beginning of Delta Force, where this guy was trapped in this destroyed plane or something like that, and Chuck Norris had to go back and get him before he blows up or something like that. Chuck Norris struggles to get him out, and he actually finally gets him out. And Lee Marvin is like the higher up commander or something like that. And Chuck Norris brought him back to the plane, and they took off. Then later on, oh boy, here we go with this scenes, long dragged out fucking scenes. This airplane scenes, oh boy, with these fucking terrorists. And one of the terrorists. It's played by, what's his name? He's a well-known actor. He plays the main terrorist in this film. I gotta look it up here. It's taking a while to fucking load here. Robert Forster. Robert Forster plays the main terrorist, Abdul. and he does a really good job playing the terrorist. Yeah, I really like him in this film. He does a really good job here. Rest in peace to Robert Forster. Same with Lee Marvin. And also it says that Liam Neeson was in here. I don't know which character Liam Neeson is, but he say he was part of the Delta Force. I did not see him in there. He must, because in the 80s he was very, very young, so I don't know which character he was. Well, anyways, let's go back to this. Oh god. The airplane scenes was like fucking forever. It dragged on for too long with this shit. So it was like Robert Forster and this other terrorist guy. They sneak like fucking guns on the plane or something like that, and it got everybody in a hostage situation. And they started doing all this fucking goofy weird shit with these passengers and shit. The males sit on this side, the females sit on that side, and something about the Jews. They want all the Jews or something like that. It's basically like what's going on right now in modern society right now with the whole Israel, Gaza, Hamas. It's basically like that right now. This movie is basically. I mean, it had it back then too, but it's redoing it again. It's redoing it again now with the whole Gaza, Hamas, Israel shit. They're doing that again now in this modern society. So it's ironic that I watched this movie and they're doing that shit right now, right in our own eyes. But a lot of people don't watch the news, so they don't give a shit. A lot of people don't. So, but anyways, the airplane scenes. Oh my god! And it took forever for Chuck Norris to do anything. Chuck Norris and his Delta Force took forever to do anything. The whole time they were just sitting back, just waiting for something to happen. Like you see in this fucking picture right here. They just sit around just waiting for something to happen. It's fucking ridiculous. It went like back and forth. It went from to airplane scenes, the whole hijack shit. Then it cuts back to fucking the general talking on TV, and then it cuts back to Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin. And keep going back and forth for like almost 50 minutes of the same shit over and over again until they finally show up after watching this movie for a long time. Like I counted it. I counted right here on my paper from 12 minutes to 59 minutes into the movie. 12 minutes to 59 minutes in. That's how fucking long it took. 12 minutes to 59 minutes for them to actually show up and do anything. What the fuck? There's a lot of things they could have took out of this movie, and they didn't take it out. This movie's like 2 hours and almost 10 minutes long. What the fuck? There's so many things they could have took out of this movie, and they didn't do it. It's too long. Steve James didn't really talk that much in this movie at all. His character is just there. All he does is just go around shooting people and shit. I mean, that's cool, but he don't say that much. He says like, "Let's rock and roll." That's basically like the only line he says later on in the film. Let's rock and roll. Wow, that's all they use Steve James for, to say let's rock and roll? I swear, he doesn't really say much. The only people that say anything much is Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin. That's it. And I remember that part when they're on the airplane, they tell that blonde lady who is a German lady. You know, I thought she was pretty hot, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that blonde airplane worker was pretty hot, I'm not gonna lie. And she didn't want to do that because of whole she's like German, and she knows it's fucked up to like tell all the terrorist people the Jewish names and all that shit. So there's that part. I mean, I didn't mind that part. That part was necessary, but all this other shit they had with the whole airplane scenes, they could cut out a lot of things out of that shit. This movie could have been like at least like an hour and 45 at least. But there's like they just left everything in there because the director just, I think was the director Aaron Norris, or I don't know. Let me see. No, some guy. Who the fuck is Medaham Golan? You know, I thought it'd be his brother Aaron Norris directed this, but no, it's some guy I never even heard of. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, look at that. He's Israeli. That makes a lot of sense now. This movie now. It makes a whole lot of sense. Israeli guy has directed this film. And he also directed another film I didn't like called Enter the Ninja, which I thought that was a fucking terrible movie. Revenge of the Ninja was a great movie, though. Revenge of the Ninja was like Revenge of the Ninja. He didn't do Revenge of the Ninja. That makes a lot more sense too. Enter the Ninja. Oh my god, that movie was just awful. It was fucking awful. This guy is like a shitty director. He's not a good director at all. Because he did Enter the Ninja, he did Delta Force. He's not a good director. He's like one of the worst directors I've ever seen. He leaves like too much shit in his movies. He leaves too much shit in them. Like, it's ridiculous. This guy is just, he's not a good director. And he is also the co-owner of the Canon Group Productions. The guy, he co-owned all those fucking those movies, the Canon stuff. And that makes more sense. Yeah, this guy, he's just a stick to being just the co-owner of Canon Group. That's why he should have just stick to, because he didn't know how to direct the movie. I'm sorry, he didn't know how to direct this or Enter the Ninja. And then when finally Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin showed up, they didn't really do anything anyways. Well, when they got to the airplane, those terrorist guys let go of the women, which I thought was pretty fucking weird. They let go of the women. You know, that doesn't sound realistic to me at all, because I don't think terrorist people let go of women. I don't think they just let them go. It's like, oh, yeah, you're free. You can get out of here all you want. Just go ahead. That just did not make no sense to me at all. I don't think that they would do something like that, especially a terrorist group. They want to just let go of women and tell them just to go home and get out of here. Doesn't make no sense to me. A terrorist group will not do some shit like that. They would have fucking took them with them, also with the men. They wanted to just take the men and leave the women to go home. I don't know. Like I said, this movie makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It doesn't. In real life, the fucking terrorist group would took the women too with the men to that country. So after they let go of the women, Lee Marvin and Chuck Norris show up and to stop the airplane from going off, and they get this little shootout, and barely anything happens because fucking I guess what's his name, that fucking terrorist guy comes out and points a gun to one of the U.S. Navy SEALs or something like that, one of the former U.S. Navy SEALs. He has a gun pointing to his head, and Lee Marvin tells Chuck Norris to not shoot or anything. I'm like, why not? Because at the end of the day, fucking the guy kills him anyways. The terrorist guy kills him and throws him off the fucking airplane. What's the fucking point of that, you idiot? He fucking kills him anyways. What was the point? Oh, to keep him alive for later on in the film? It's like, what the fuck? They made Lee Marvin look like a fucking asshole in this movie. They made him look like an asshole. They told fucking Chuck Norris to don't shoot, and fucking the guy dies anyways. So there was like no point of that. They could have saved that guy. Well, whatever. I'm not this idiot director, so yeah, the Navy SEAL guy dies, and now they went to a different country with the captured Jewish guys, the Jewish American dudes. They went to a different country to Beirut, or you want to pronounce that. I don't fucking pronounce these fucking country names. Then all of a sudden they had this random practice scene where Lee Marvin and his Delta Force guys are practicing shooting inside the airplane. I'm like, why is this part so misplaced in this film? Why did they put this now instead of doing it before? Before they show up to the plane to go after the terrorist guys. Why can't they do this before all that? All of a sudden now they put it here? After they took the fucking Jewish people to Beirut? It makes no fucking sense. Why did they put this misplaced scene in that spot of the film? Oh my god. Ay, man. Que gorimbe. So, next thing you know, what happens next? Chuck Norris and this guy show up to Beirut to scout around to see where the captured Jewish Americans are at. See where they're at. And they get caught by one of the terrorist guys. The terrorist guys chase after Chuck Norris and the other guy in the car, and they had this shootout going on. And the whole chasing shootout part, I didn't really give a fuck about. I didn't care. It wasn't really interesting to me, because I already did lost interest already, because the whole long ass boring airplane hijack scenes that last like almost 15 minutes, not 15 minutes, almost 50 minutes almost an hour, really. Then he went back to Lee Marvin to give him like the coordinates of what to do or whatever, the map or whatever the hell it is. And now they're gonna plan what they have to plan to save the hostages in that place. And they decide to grab like a bunch of ladders and put it together under this fucking ceiling, and they draw like a circle on top of where the hostages are in, and they pop out of the whole like Bugs Bunny and shit shooting on the motherfuckers. And they shot that fucking little asshole terrorist guy under the bed, and Chuck Norris make like a funny, cool catchphrase line. I forgot what he says. It's something really funny he said. I forgot what it was, but I thought it was pretty clever. Then they had his other shootout scenes outside of the fucking the building. Fucking rocket launchers. They shot the rocket launchers at the fucking those jeeps that the terrorist guys are in, blew them the fuck up to Kingdom Come. And the other part where Chuck Norris pops out of nowhere with his motorcycle rocket launcher shoots at the trucks, and the terrorist crews run out of like fucking chickens to cut off their heads or something like that. Which that don't make no sense. They have guns. Why don't they just start shooting back at Chuck Norris? There's more terrorist group than not more terrorist group. There's more terrorists than Chuck Norris. There's like fucking like 30 guys in those cars and just one guy. Like they can just shoot Chuck Norris and just kill him. But whatever. I like I said, I'm not the director of this movie, so it makes no fucking sense to me. I understand this is a movie, but you have to make some fucking sense to it. It gotta make some sense. There's so many fucking red flags in this movie. Well, really more cons than pros in this movie, to be honest with you. God damn. But like I said, all these action scenes, yeah, they're pretty cool and all, but I lost a lot of interest in really giving a shit about these scenes because we had that long, boring, stupid, hijack terrorist airplane shit for like almost 50 minutes, and that's like bored the hell out of me throughout that whole film. It's like you're on one of those Greyhound travel buses, and you sit there forever and ever and ever. You're like bored out of your mind. It's like, oh god, are we there to Las Vegas already? For fuck's sake, how long is it gonna take to get to fucking Las Vegas already? It's been fucking forever. I gotta deal with these annoying drunk fucking idiots on here too. Oh, fucking Christ. That's how it feels like. You're on one of those Greyhound buses traveling to Las Vegas, bored out of your fucking mind. And there's some parts of the bus, there's actually something interesting going on for like a couple of minutes of some drunk idiot, and that's it. He gets thrown off the bus and back to being bored again. Then one of Chuck Norris' Delta Force buddies gets fucking shot, and he later on dies at the end of the movie. And fucking Chuck Norris had his final fight with his the terrorist guy Abdul, played by Robert Forster. They had this little fight in this building, and Abdul can't fight for shit. He's like a chicken cut off his head. He couldn't fight because Chuck Norris, he knows like martial arts and shit. So yeah, there's that. And then fucking Chuck Norris is about to leave, and the terrorist guy was still alive, which that makes no sense. Why would he just leave? But the thing is, like, I guess they wanted to have this cool, awesome scene in this movie, I guess. So, like, Robert Ford's getting inside his Jeep. He points the AK-47 at Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, like, sitting on his bike. And he's like, on his back. And he's sitting on the bike. And, like, a fucking rocket launcher came out the back of the bike and just blew up Robert Ford in his truck and just kills him. What the hell? Okay. I mean, that's just cool, but it just makes no sense to me. Like, he sits on his bike, and the back of it had like a rocket launcher come out of it and just blows up fucking Robert Forza in his Jeep. Okay, I guess that's cool, but it still makes no sense to me. He could have just shot Robert Forza in the car and just... Or it makes sense if Robert Ford is like escaping in his fucking Jeep, and Chuck Norris shoots a rocket launcher out of it and blew him up while he's trying to escape. That would make more sense, but whatever. I guess that's close enough. I guess that's cool too. I guess I should try to do something different, but that's not the way you're supposed to write something different. But it was still cool, I guess. It still don't make no sense to me. A lot of this shit don't make no sense in this movie. Especially that nauseating fucking soundtrack. Yeah, so-called soundtrack. This soundtrack's fucking terrible, this movie. You keep playing the same music over and over and over and over in your ears. Da, 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 over and fucking over. They could have just hired somebody to actually, produce the soundtrack or something. They keep playing the same shit over and over again. The music's like out of place in this movie. It makes no sense. This is like a fucking this is a Delta Force, for Christ's sakes. It should have like some badass music playing, not that shit. That shit's like you'd be used for like a fucking kids movie. That music. This movie's rated R. They're playing like a little kiddie music. Da, 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 da. What the fuck? The music's so shitty. It's misplaced. It doesn't fit here. Oh god, this fucking movie. I mean, like, okay, so at the end of the movie, they save everybody. They kill all the terrorist guys off the plane that they hijacked. And they get on the plane, Lee Marvin and them. And Chuck Norris, once again, takes forever to get on the plane again. It's like the beginning of the movie. He does the same thing here. But he finally gets on the plane, and his buddy dies. And that's the end of the movie. That's it. That's the end of the movie, but people. Bye-bye. Leave the theater now. Ugh, God. So, I have here for pros and cons. I didn't really write anything for pros besides Robert Forster playing a really good job as the terrorist guy. He does a really good job with his what you call it, the way how he plays the character, how he does the voice of the Arab, the terrorist guy. He does a really good job doing the voice and everything like that. He does a really good job at that. Okay, but so I think that's all I have. Besides, also I thought that airplane worker girl was pretty hot. That blondie, I thought she was pretty attractive. What else besides that? I'm trying to think some more pros. It's kind of hard because like the movie has more cons than pros. To be honest with you, I'm trying to think some more. I can't. I fucking can't. I mean, Chuck Norris was good in here too. I guess you could say that. I like Lee Marvin. And this sucks because Lee Marvin, I think Lee Marvin died like a year after this movie, or 2 years after, or maybe this in the same year. I forgot. But anyways, let's get to the cons. Too many scenes on the airplane. Way too many scenes on the airplane. Fucking Chuck Norris and his crew just sit around and just wait and wait and wait and wait. Like you see in this fucking picture right here. Just waiting around. It dragged on for too long on the airplane. It did. It dragged on way too long. Took forever for Chuck Norris and his soldiers to do anything. 12 minutes to 59 minutes. I counted it. I counted on the fucking the TV. 47 minutes. Almost 50 minutes long. That whole scene of the airplane situation. That's too fucking long. They should cut out a lot of things out of that part. Okay, another one here. The terrorist group lets out the women off the plane. It makes no sense. I don't think a terrorist group will let the women off the plane either. They do it to kidnap the men and the women. No, they don't just let out the women off the plane to keep the men. That makes no sense at all to me. Shouldn't they kidnap the women more than the men? I guess the director is like soft as shit or something like that, and he couldn't write something like that. That'd be too dark or something. I don't know. He probably thought it'd be too dark and too graphic or something. I don't know what it is. It would, like I said, it would make more sense if the terrorist group actually kidnapped the women more than the men, and let the men off, and then took the women with them. I think that would make more sense. Or they took both of them. But whatever. This just the director didn't know what the hell he was doing. What else here? The airplane practice scene with Lee Marvin and the Delta Force was misplaced. It was. They put it like in between when after the terrorist group left with the Jewish guys to Beirut, and all of a sudden they had the scene where the Lee Marvin is practicing with the boys in the airplane. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did they put that there? Why did you put it like, I don't know, before? Like, what the hell are they doing with that scene? Like, that's so misplaced. Especially this fucking soundtrack in this movie. That soundtrack ruins the action scenes. It does. They keep playing the same thing over and over again. Should I just do that example of how annoying that shit was? It sounds like fucking stupid. Da, 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 da. It makes no sense. Like, Why would they put that music in a movie like this? That music is like used for like I said, like a kids movie or like a PG kids movie or something. That music is just does not fit here. They should have some some badass shit going on. Not the shit that they came up with. What the hell is that? I understand this is 1986, but I seen better movies in the 80s that had better soundtracks than this movie. A lot of movies that did better. They actually hired people to make a fucking music for the movie. I don't know who the idiot they hired for this movie to do the soundtrack. He's probably some fucking goofball. Alright, let's see here. Who did this fucking music? Alan Silvestri. I heard that name so many times, and this is the best you can come up with for this fucking movie. Repeat the same fucking sound over and over again. This guy did a lot of fucking famous movies: Back to the Future, Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump, I hate Polar Express. That movie sucked. Well, he did a lot of fucking famous movies, and somehow this is what he came up with for this fucking movie. Repeat the same music over and over again. It's terrible. What the hell was he doing that day? Was he high? Was he on some crack or something? Like, what was he doing then? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these fucking people. I don't know what's going on in this movie. Oh, fuck me. Oh, man. This movie has so many problems. It's like, I don't know what they're trying to do with this shit. This movie got a 5.6 on IMDb. So that tells something right there. So that tells me that I'm not the only one that thinks movies not good at all. So I'm not the only person that thinks that. But a lot of people do like this movie. So, like some people on YouTube that wears a fucking hat backwards on his head. That guy got like bad taste in movies. I'm not gonna lie. He has like bad taste in movies. Especially Delta Force. Delta Force more like Delta Fart. Because that's what this whole movie did. Is fart in my fucking face. Like I said, I watched way better Chuck Norris movies that are better than this. I mean, there are bad ones besides this. Like I said, the sequel, Braddock Mission Action 3. That's another one I couldn't get into. That shit was just awful. I think that's all I have to say. I don't know what else to say about this fucking dumbass movie. I don't know what else to say about it. It's the scenes drag on for too long. There's too many boring scenes. They took forever the action scenes to actually happen. And all they did is sit around and wait for things to happen. Could have been a lot better. There's a lot of things that could have took out of this movie, but this director is fucking chicken shit, and he doesn't know what the hell he was doing. He should just stick to being the co-owner of the Cannon Group company.